I went all the way through with like just blinders on, because whoa, big comics. I just, and only when I was like 10 years in there, what am I doing? Like, So I hope that regardless of our silliness, that they're appreciating at least hearing some stuff, because the one thing that is so unsexy and it annoys a lot of people when they ask you for advice is to relate to them that not only do you have to be this writer and artist that can produce and letter and do everything to make a comic book, but you also have to be the president of your company. You have to now become a business person, and that shit's boring. And I'm lucky, I didn't know half the shit before I met my wife, and I wouldn't be half as successful if I hadn't met my wife, who knows how to do this, who's able to take this and rub the algae off it and turn it into something you guys are enjoying. But from her I learned, and a lot of my friends literally come to my house now to sit at my wife's feet to go, what do I do? How do I make a company? How do I incorporate myself? Should I get a lawyer? Should a lawyer read my contracts? And these things that are so important.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to talk about it a little later at the Harveys, that it's so important that you decide to be the president of your company. And it's so important that it almost doesn't even matter. Like, if you don't do it, don't even bother making a comic. You're completely wasting your time, because you can't even get published. You can't even go to Kinko's and get a hold of Diamond and make a comic. You can't even put together a webcomic without being a business person.
Yeah.
And I think the Image founders, more or less, showed that to be that most of them were equal parts, business person and creator. Some even better business people than they were creators. And I think that's what Image showed has to happen. If really there was a legacy to Image, that's it. Because I know there are other people around their age or their peers, and I know Eric's here, and he can probably attest to it, that were invited to be part of Image and went, and they lost out, and now they're completely done. They're not even in comics anymore, because they were just sat there. I just want to draw, and it's not enough.
Do you think the Image creators were worried about doing books that sell 3,000?
I think, truthfully, I think most of them hedged their bets and were doing did what they did best. Todd did a cross between Batman and Spider-Man, and Jim Lee did a cross.
They were smart. They did commercial.
Yeah, I mean, but it's they didn't do Joe Matt masturbating into a cup and help themselves. They were doing.
But a lot of them.
There's actually a book where Joe Matt masturbates into a cup. But they were doing commercial work that was geared right after Marvel, full blast. So.
See, and it seemed to work out, but that was a different
time.
It
worked out?
Sure.
Yeah.
It all worked out. It all worked out to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
So anyway, one of the things you said in your rebuttal that kind of aggravated me was that you said that Marvel Zombies or Walking Dead would not be the success it is today without Marvel Zombies.
Not what I said, and I knew you misquoted. I said one of the many reasons. There's many reasons a book is successful. Any success, and again, in any medium whatsoever, if something's successful, it's for numerous reasons. And one of the reasons I think that Walking Dead is successful, and more successful than Invincible, even though Invincible is technically the more mainstream idea and creating a more mainstream flavor. The reason Walking Dead is more successful is because Marvel Zombies was so appealing, and you were so appealing on it, that audience fell in love. Not everyone, but some people saw that was their introduction to you, and went looking for this other stuff they're hearing. Oh, you like the zombies? I think there's more zombies over here, but they're even more hardcore, right? And the same thing happened with me on Powers. I can tell you exactly what my Powers numbers were until Ultimate Spider-Man came out. And then something else happened. It's not the only reason Powers is successful, but I am very aware that my constant showcase at Marvel for my illustrious talent is a commercial for Powers and Jinx and Torso, and I'm to this day they're still selling. Because everyone, every once in a while when Dark Avengers #1 comes out, a handful of people will go, hey, that didn't suck. What else has this guy done? And someone on the message board goes, don't even touch his Marvel shit. Read his Image comics, and that's that. And you've seen it happen. And I'm saying to ignore that aspect of your audience, or to shut it down, I worry, I could be totally wrong, but I worry historically that maybe you're kidding yourself a little to lose that window to some of the audience. Not all of it, some of it. And that's what uh-oh, here he goes. He's got a presentation.
Setup.
It is, it's a total setup. I have no idea what this is. So. If I turn it
It's all family photos, don't worry.
If I morph into a squirrel, I'm going to slap him.
Scrolls. So tell me about Dark Avengers while he's doing this. What's that book about?
I can't say because
Because I don't know. He probably actually has already
You
written
know.
13 issues. Yeah, it's very embarrassing. But
the last page of Secret Invasion 8 unveils what will be Dark Avengers. So I can't say yet because I don't want to ruin it for the people who are reading the
No spoilers.
I'm reading it. It's good.
You're still getting your counts?
No. Well, that.
They're kind of on the
No, that's out there. It's not
Can I just ask one question since we're waiting? Brian, you said you worked as a caricature artist well into your career, even when you had made it and won an Eisner before you gave up the day job to work full-time in comics. What about yourself? When you were doing Battle Book and some of
It
those
didn't
other
take me nearly as long as it did Brian to get to a point where I was sustaining myself. My first comic came out in 2001.
Well, you live in Kentucky. You can sustain yourself
No.
much less.
Everyone should move to Kentucky. That's the. Yeah, I mean, if you can stand bowling, and that's the place to live.
Well, you had a still, and you guys wanted to still out of the garage. That was a lot of money.
Thanks, Brian. You gotta out me on that. That's good.
Larry Flint.
You're cut off.
What were you saying?
No, I mean, yeah, I struggled along. I struggled along with Battle Book. I struggled along with Tech Jacket and Capes and Cloudfall and Brit and like all this other stuff I did that it took a while to catch on. But it was making a little bit of money. I mean, I don't want to give people a misinterpretation of it takes a year to start making like a substantial bit of money on a thing that's successful, but there is money trickling in, and if you're a young guy, if you're a single guy, or if you're I don't know, whatever. I mean, you can get by on that stuff. But it's an uphill battle, but that's starting out, and that's what everyone should experience when they're starting out. I certainly don't want to go back and do it again. But
My wife brought ramen noodles into the house, and I almost got really epileptic seizure. I was like, get away from me!
I was living on credit cards, so I was eating debt for them. So.
My most intimate relationship in my 20s was the credit woman at Sears Roebuck. Because they gave me a credit card when I was in college, $1,100 credit card Sears. Me and my girlfriend, we didn't even know what they had at Sears. We're like, what are we going to buy at Sears? We spent all $1,100 in one sitting, and I was paying that off $10, $6 on the day for years. And she'd call up. I knew her by name. We had a relationship. That's the reality of creator-owned comics.
That's the reality of starting out on creator-owned comics and starting out in the industry.
But okay, so while they're waiting,
Sure.
the question I want to ask you, and Grant asked it too. Who among us do you think doesn't know this?
I think there are many people. You're misunderstanding the argument and trying to make a point that counters something that I didn't even say. I'm not saying that people aren't aware that creator-owned comics exist, and I'm not saying people are unaware that they can do creator-owned comics. I'm saying they are unaware that they can do creator-owned comics and make a profit, and only do creator-owned comics and sustain themselves once they reach a certain level.
I think what you should be selling is that creators, you should invest in yourself. Whether you can afford to spend 2 days of the week investing in yourself, that the investment you would make is in creator.
Continue working at Marvel is what you're saying.
No, but some people just can't afford to do it, and it stops them cold. But I'm saying that the relationship between two jobs can be very healthy. That working at Marvel or DC and working on something that you own together at the same time is a very special thing that I think I found to be the most special part of comics.
That's you, and your argument is that there are different things for different people. So you have to admit what? Did you see? Was my kid? They see the kid first? What was it? No, that's fine. This is, I just did a little line graphs, that's all, a little fun. I have a lot of free time now, so that's what I'm doing. This is Marvel Zombies versus Walking Dead sales around the time that Marvel Zombies #1 hit, and it was very interesting to me because I did this just as an exercise, just to get this tablecloth is wrecked. I apologize. It's just an exercise that I did just to see what it would show, and what it shows is that during the shipping of Marvel Zombies, Walking Dead sales leveled off for the first time. Since
No. Look. I see something different. I see that you were in the team.